Now, for instance, for me, it's very critical, and most of my work is actually behind a non-disclosure agreement or an NDA. So I really are am dependent on my performance and who's able to give good recommendations. So I want to highlight Rocket Dollar, who's been an amazing team, an amazing startup here in Austin, and I was really honored to work with them for about 6 months. And I really appreciate their recommendations because it helps people understand what I did for them. And not only that, I get to highlight both and do a pat on the back. So I pat on the back a company that I enjoyed working with, and people see Rocket Dollar, and it'll actually show up on search, Rocket Dollar. But as well, it helps other people get a better understanding of what I do as a marketing contractor. And especially one of those things is you can see that I am always giving different recommendations out. So I've given 24 that have been accepted by people, but I usually give a ratio of 2 to 1. So most of the time I will give two recommendations. You don't have to accept the recommendations and display them, but chances are if you give a recommendation, you're going to give one back. And when you ask for a recommendation, you can even highlight, this is what I want you to highlight about how we work together.
And I've found that it's interesting because I do different things. So people will highlight that they've worked with me because I host a podcast for an association. I'm their paid host. And so, they might write a recommendation that, wow, Tom is really great to work with in hosting this podcast as a third party vendor. Well, I don't really go around advertising that I do that, but if I can get a recommendation on that, if somebody asks me about it, I can point them straight to that recommendation on LinkedIn so that they'll know I'm legit and that I actually have clients and that I do that. So recommendations are a really good thing, and you can use them. I go through and I update my website. I go through and look for the recommendations because I will have a couple on my main website. I'll just go through LinkedIn, pull them off LinkedIn, and put them on my homepage.
Right. And you can do an anchor link and put it back to your LinkedIn recommendation section as well.